Now, let's be honest, there hasn't been much to laugh about when it comes to COVID, but our new world of daily press conferences did produce some comedy gold. Take a look at this.
Andrew, I'm sorry, you've had several questions. Andrew, I'm sorry. Andrew, I know, but you don't run the press conference, OK?
Right from the very first lockdown announcement, it was clear some people would try to find the funny side of COVID.
Andrew, I'm sorry, you've had several questions. Andrew, I'm sorry. Andrew, I know, but you don't run the press conference, OK?
Suddenly, a Prime Minister's press conference could generate hundreds of copycat videos.
Catherine hasn't had a question. I'm happy to return to you, but let's just keep it civil. Andrew. Catherine.
If you need any proof about how much time we had on our hands during lockdown, look at the remixes.
People simply take this seriously rapidly. Get on the beers. That's your civic duty.
Dan Andrews got one too.
Beers. Get on the beers.
Gladys Berejiklian's version was perhaps the most painstakingly crafted of the lot.
I hope everybody likes staying at home because we are going to go into lockdown forever. Nobody from New South Wales is going anywhere.
Can you imagine how long it took to piece together this satirical masterpiece?
We don't like to be heavy-handed, but what we need to say today now is that if you leave home, we will give you a death sentence. Please know that you will be shot in the face, and I hope it's painful.
Even without the remix, many of our pollies had us in stitches, simply trying to put on a face mask, let alone mastering global diplomacy without handshakes.
Let's have a look at Peter Dutton in South Korea trying to do the bump.
Are we shaking hands? Are we fist bumping? Are we high-fiving? Is it some kind of karate chop?
2GB radio host Ben Fordham isn't surprised our new world of daily health briefings produced some comedy gold.
And a lot of these chief health officers went from being backroom operators to all of a sudden front and centre, out in front of the cameras. Of course there were going to be disasters happen.
And my glasses broke, but that's okay. All right. Okay.
Kerry Chant even pushing on with a broken set of spectacles.
This is a very serious topic, so please don't be distracted by that.
She didn't stop. She didn't go saying, OK, I've got to call it a day. I need to go to Specsavers. She just soldiered on, broken glasses and all.
Perhaps the biggest blooper came from South Australia's Chief Health Officer when Collingwood came to town.
If you are at Adelaide Oval and the ball comes towards you, my advice to you is to duck and just do not touch that ball.
But don't worry about the humans, just worry about the ball.
Quick, run. It's a share-in.
Gold 104.3 radio host Christian O'Connell.
I'm curious to know how they got this deadly sharing out the stadium. Was it a guy in like a hazmat suit and a pair of barbecue tongs going, stand back, everyone, stand back?
The vaccine rollout we were all waiting on was stumbling from day one, really.
B for vaccine. Very good.
Let alone this clanger from the Prime Minister.
It's not a race, it's not a competition.
Oh, I think he's going to regret saying that.
WA Premier Mark McGowan got the giggles over a kebab.
There's nothing wrong with... There's nothing wrong with going for a run. There's nothing wrong with going for a run and having a kebab.
And also thought this Paul Kelly was advising him to open his borders.
Well, I don't know who Paul Kelly is. Deputy Chief Health Officer. OK, so clearly not the singer.
Before too long, we'll be together and no one will tear us apart.
If only those lyrics were true for families divided by Fortress WA. Maybe the Federal Health Minister can pay the Premier a visit soon.
I've never met Greg Hunt. I've never spoken to Greg Hunt. I wouldn't know him if I met him.
Animosity between the states and Canberra running rife in Queensland as well.
I've put in a call to Peter Dutton. I wasn't able to get through. I've sent a text to Peter Dutton this morning asking him to call me. I have not heard from him.
That's because the Health Minister, Yvette Darth, had the wrong phone number. If only she could have hung up on this heckler.
Recorded. Excuse me, I have a voice. You've said enough.
Her potty-mouthed predecessor, Stephen Miles, dropped this bombshell about the PM.
What a contrast.
He later said sorry for that stumble, but we're still waiting for an apology for what could be the worst acting performance of the pandemic.
When he ripped up that hotel quarantine bill sent from New South Wales, it was worthy of a bloke who's never going to win a Logie.
And it's not even the dollars, it's the principle.
And while we're on bad acting, who could forget Gladys Berejiklian's State of Origin tweet?
Standing with a beanie on and a can of Coke, staring at the screen, about 6 hours before the game started. Gladys, that needed a bit of work, that one.
If you even consider breaking the rules, I will personally stab you in the head and rip your guts out.
Across the ditch, Jacinda Ardern's request for a staycation turned into something unexpected on closed captions, while Joe Biden's stumbles weren't just on the stairs of Air Force One.
Now we have over 120 million dead from COVID.
That seems a little high, Joe. Are you sure about that?
It's estimated that 200 million people have died, probably by the time I finish this talk.
The real figure is over 760,000, still the worst death toll anywhere in the world. Most of the blame can be laid on his predecessor,
But you don't hear them talking about COVID.
who was more interested in where the virus originated
Kung flu.
than how to stop its spread. Cue another remix.
It's not racist at all, no, not at all. It comes from China.
UK PM Boris Johnson didn't need a remix to sound funny.
Combined with contact tracing.
If that's hard to pronounce, imagine his difficulty with some of the new drug treatments.
In particular, tocilizumab.
How is he even in that job? Boris, how are you running a country?
Is it toxilumab?
Near enough, PM.
Something like that. Okay, this is the one we got to get. We got to make sure we get this right.
Tocilizumab.
Tocilizumab. There you go.
And thought was okay with the world's most contagious virus to go around shaking hands.
I think there were actually a few coronavirus patients, and I shook hands with everybody. You'll be pleased to know, and I continue to shake hands.
And then guess what? He got it. Science, Boris.
British comedians had a field day with his confusing advice.
Go to work, don't go to work. Stay indoors. If you can work from home, go to work. Don't go to work. Go outside, don't go outside.
Before Boris delivered the ultimate COVID clanger we can all kind of relate to.
Retail, gyms, personal.
Have you pressed the button, Prime Minister? I think we're just going to have to stop for a moment so we can have it checked.
The damn mute button. It gets you every time, doesn't it, Bojo?
It's not our own Prime Minister, it could well be yours.
You know, that's fine with your nan and granddad until he remembers that guy can't unmute himself. He's got his finger on the nuclear button. That's a problem.
Yes, it is. And how can we forget Ken Berens instead of Can Berens? At least we're starting to see the lighter side of COVID.